Now tuned into $1 million worth of game.
Oh man, we got the
one and
legend in the building.
The one and only, man.
The legend.
The one and only, man.
Executioner.
The one and only, man.
Bernard Hopkins, man. First of all, a worldwide legend, but a Philadelphia king. I'm talking about came from the bing to the ring to doing his thing to ching.
All that.
God damn. You know, you and Wallow was locked up in the same
That's why I got the
man.
boots up here. These for me and Nard right here.
Yeah.
This for me.
No.
What?
Don't put that smut on my old head.
No, I'm just saying.
This for you and Nard. No. Nard did different things in them boots.
Yeah. And I was doing a lot of running.
He was
putting
niggas down in them boots.
Yeah.
No,
you was getting put down in them boots.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. You hear this shit? Nard know it's different than this. It's not like you think. See, Nard, he think everybody trying to go with everybody. Everybody trying to go on a date.
I don't think that.
Nah.
But I just know
80%, right? 80% you're gonna have that. But most of the time, it's like, you know, a wall around a city. You normally got to have your support team, your crew, your gang, whatever it is. You must be tied into that. But yeah, it's some things that go down. It's some things to go down that you got to turn your head to. If you're not part of it, you don't want to be a witness to it.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a hook. You can use it. That was a hook somewhere. You know,
somewhere.
Yeah, it's a hook somewhere.
Turn your head. You don't want to be a witness to it.
Exactly.
Before we go any further, this episode of $1 Million Worth of Game is brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. Now, let me tell you something about New Amsterdam Vodka. Life ain't going your way. Shot of New Amsterdam Vodka.
Shot.
Caught your wife cheating today.
Shot of New Amsterdam.
Shot of New Amsterdam Vodka. You know, you thought you was going to get paid, but they ain't send you check right away. Shot of New Amsterdam Vodka is distilled 5 times, is filtered 3 times for a clean, crisp finish. You could drink it with anything. Straight up, soda, juice. You could drink it on the rocks. Or you could make a classic New Amsterdam Mule. Now, New Amsterdam Vodka is the official vodka of Barstool Sports and the presenting sponsor.
$1 million worth of game.
$1 million worth of game. Shout out to the New Amsterdam Queen. My wife, she be at the crib with her girlfriends. They be doing the cocktails and, you know, fucking my furniture up, laughing and spilling shit all on the couches and all that. But, you know, New Amsterdam Vodka is, you know, that starts off a great day. So when you out and about at your local liquor store, make sure you pick you up some New Amsterdam Vodka. Is the official vodka of Barstool Sports and the presenting sponsor.
$1 million worth of game.
$1 million worth of game.
One thing about you, an unbelievable success story coming out of prison. They say 750,000 people leave prison every year. This is what they say. And like a lot of people you know and I know, they go back. You know,
within 6 months.
Within 6 months. You had it in your mind. You go to jail, 84. When you go to jail at that time, you know, the sad thing about it, you know, you lost your brother Mike Hopkins at that time. Your mom lost 1984. And what's interesting, we got a similar story in that, whereas though we both was at greatest for when we heard our brother got killed.
Yes.
What's different with you is that your brother get killed, you on the phone. How do it go? When you hear that your brother, you know, this before you B-Hop, this before you the big champion of the world, this when you just heads from the streets.
And why 45 to the system?
And why you know what I'm saying? You just a number.
I had a Y number. Yeah.
You had this before the double numbers came. And you just in the system and you on the phone and you make that phone call, and how did that go?
It went basically quiet. And that's when I'm talking quiet in a way of no response in the first 5 to 6 seconds. It's like it's not normal, even though it doesn't seem like it's enough time to recognize something is wrong. But when 4 sisters I have, and I don't mind naming them. Bernadette, the oldest, a year older than me. I'm the second oldest. And you know, Bernadette, Yolanda, Marcy, Charmaine, and I mentioned Bernadette. So they kept handing the phone kept going to each sister, and the second sister was, I don't want to tell him. I heard that. And then the other sister, say Charmaine, she got the phone. And Next thing you know, it was handed to my last of the 4 was Marcy. And it said, Michael got killed last night. What? And within seconds after that, literally you get 10 minutes on the phone. Normally if you're a shot caller or respected or paid somebody a pack of cigarettes to get their time, which is 10 minutes, that normally can happen. You know what I mean? Because I didn't have a book. I didn't run the phone book. Right. They normally have an inmate run the phone book. You cool with him, whatever. I slide you in on 10:45, whatever. So I'm basically like, what's wrong? Nobody would tell me. And next thing, I got a response. Michael got killed last night. What? Like again, I'm like, who? What? Michael got killed last night. And from there, within seconds, obviously, I didn't want to get off the phone, but I took another extra minute of the next guy phone. But it was cool because it was back and forth, but then I'm like, still got the phone. So one thing led to another, and next thing you know, I had to get off the phone and I had to let him sort of like marinate and let it sit in me. And I wanted to get right back in line or to the phone. Book guy, the guy that handles all the next callers or who's the next call on the phone. Mm-hmm. And I got back on because now I got, my guys on the block and people on the block, let me get your time. Boom, got right back on the phone. 20 minutes. I got back on the phone. I had 20 minutes to think about what I didn't want to accept and didn't want to hear and make sure that I wanted to hear something different, which it wasn't. I wanted to hear it again. And then I'm asking who, where at, how did it happen? And, it was kind of rough for me for the next 6 months. And let me tell you, Gilly, and this is how long this was, but it was, definitely a time where if you didn't have a homicide or a rape or something like real dangerous, you was allowed only by escorted to the funeral home. They made arrangements, right, to have me in a tan and brown van back then, right? It wasn't blue, the sheriff van. And they mother had to pay, I think, a couple $100 or something to have me come to the viewing shackled. Woo! The funeral home was Townsend Funeral Home, which is a Germantown and Horder. It's condos now. Yeah. That's my old neighborhood, right? We lived on Sharp Neck Street. Yeah, Sharp Good Neck. Street, Horder Street, right? Right? Check this out. That whole strip of Germantown Avenue, we weren't allowed to Chestnut Hill past Cedric with the playground at, where all my nephews played for the Minery Banners, right? I went up Germantown with a mentality of North Philly, Raby Rosen. So that avenue, I can say, anybody out there to hear this, they can say what they want to say and justify it, but the heads ran that whole avenue. East Side was basically, say, our rivals, then Dogtown, right? Which basically was respected on the west side, which I lived, in the east side. Together, they became one going against Haynes Street. Down the avenue, Germantown High, which I supposed to went to, but I hung up King, Martin Luther King on Staten Avenue all the time. That was my hangout, even though I was supposed to be in Germantown High. When you in a situation where somebody got hurt in your family, let alone your family, like your brother, like when you talk about your friends, they still could be your family and all that, but I'm talking about somebody immediate to you, and they eventually got to come through. They got to come through the classification of graded for it, right? And whether you're going to have your blues on, right? Or get quarantined, and then you go right to the jail you're going to. If you're youngie, you're going right to Camp Hill, most likely, right? You're going to the Hill, right? Then Rockford, whatever. So I'm fast forwarding the conversation to months now passing. I go to the funeral, shackled, Townsend Funeral Home. I got pictures, I got videos, because years ago I knew they want to keep that neighborhood. Now you go up there, no funeral home, no nothing. No Kent Bar, no nothing. It's all done, it's all changed, it's all gone. But I got stuff that I can go back to and say that's Townsend right there.
And revisit.
I can revisit it when I need to, right? So I start getting basically counsel. Everybody got a counsel in there where they go see their counsel. If they got problems, they got this, they got that, whatever. They want to move out of the jail. If they having problems on the block, whatever. So they called me down there because they got a word tip that there's an inmate coming up there that has a conflict. Because when you come through Graded For, they ask you if anything happened to you, where you want your body
sent.
And where's the address. What?
Yeah, that's some scary shit.
If something happened,
Where you want your body sent?
Where do you want your body sent? They firm. Inmates are asking you this. What are you talking about? Inmates run that. Right. When it comes to the receiving room and all that, there's no guard asking you this. Right. It's the receptionist inmate who got 30 in and they got 2 life sentences, most likely. He got some time, double-digit numbers. If he ain't got life, which to me is, you know what I mean? Right. It's depending on how old he is, life.
It's life.
So he's asking you where you want your body at. You gotta give him the address, give him somebody, alias, whatever. That's where your body going. You go through all that, but they wanted to ask me, did I have any enemies in that jail? Nah, I ain't got no enemies. Because if you do, you gotta give a name, I guess, and then they'll find a way to place you somewhere else.
Separation.
Right? Separation. You ain't going on C block, D block, E block. You ain't going none of that. You're gonna quarantine yourself. In this situation, they got word that the guy that killed my brother is on his way to Graded For, and wherever he go from there after quarantine, not quarantine, after going to E block or whatever, and then quarantine, and then they ship you where they need to ship you, depending on your case and how much time you got. I'm denying it, Gilly. Think how strong this is and powerful this is, and be able to reflect it with items and show like certain little small things that can clarify anything I say and show later, because I do not know what you're talking about. Nah. Like, I'm thinking like anybody else would think in that mentality, justify or not. No, we hit, told my counselor, right? Miss Stalling. Names I don't forget and money. Right? I know you gotta keep memory of all those things.
Absolutely.
Because you gotta watch it. I denied it, they send me back, okay, everything's fine. Whether they believe me or not, I didn't care, but I didn't want to expose that I knew they was claiming would happen.
Right.
Eventually, they came in about 3 a.m. I said, they the guards. 3 days later, flashlight, whatever they had on, it wasn't no shields and like that because I wasn't a threat. It's not like I did something or stabbed somebody or stabbed the guard.
Right.
They came and replace me and remove me rather and replace me to Dollaz.
SCI Dollaz.
So when they came, right, we talking past Scranton, Wilkes-Barre.
1000 Follies Road.
You talking about like a few hours from Binghamton, New York. That was our radio station, Binghamton, New York. We ain't had Power 99 and WHAT. We ain't had that. Right? On 105.3, whatever. So they came in, what the fuck? Lights. Why 41, 45? Get your stuff. What you mean? I ain't get to pack nothing. Didn't expect to come, for them to come. They packed all my stuff. Half of the stuff didn't get there, but just follow me for a minute. Right. They took all my stuff was packed by them. Right. Whatever they threw in the box,
First thing smoking.
Pictures, everything. They had me on the van with 2 other people that was going to get shipped out for whatever they was getting shipped out for, right? In the jail. They was getting shipped whatever they was doing, shit. And it shipped out. And I remember that long, early morning ride to Dallas. What is Dallas? Yep. Talking about it's a Dallas in Pennsylvania? Yeah. Come on, Gilly, you know we from Dallas.
Dallas. That don't even sound
Dallas,
right.
Texas?
What?
Right? What are you talking about?
Start thinking about the Cowboys.
So I'm in Dallas. You talking to redneck country.
Hardcore.
Redneck country.
Don't give a fuck about you.
They know you coming from Graded For. So they got it. They
think you slick. And you know what's going on.
It's something about Graded For. You're a city slickster. Anybody live in the country Anybody out there listening going to respond to this? Anybody in the country? I'm not saying there's good or bad people out there. Y'all argue about that. But anybody that lives in the country understands the rule of country thinking. You from the city slickster. Watch them. So we get up. Dallas is that mentality. You get up Dallas, all rednecks. You talking about looking like you. None of that. Yeah. So we get out on this pier, right? And we shackled, ankles, waist. They sitting there. They get you in this big room. Lights are bright. It's like 5 or 6 of us. They step forward. You got your bunk, your mattress, linen clothes, I guess, whatever they give you, the pillars and all that. And so we lined up, and they gave us a short speech. You're not in Greater Forest State Penitentiary. You're in Dallas. They made that clear. We don't do this. We don't do that. We run this jail. Y'all run it down there.
Right.
They gonna keep elaborating.
They gonna tell you that.
Right.
This shit is serious though. Right. You think it's like
we run this.
We not going for none of your bullshit.
Time you call for help. It's gonna take days, maybe weeks, right, for you to get a response. We run this.
We'll bury you in here.
90% of the dudes up there, man, is humble. The guards, like they beat down. The soda's gone, right? It's a shell. Man, he used to be.
He was an animal.
Vicious. What happened? So you got guys looking at that. That's my guy. Like they did. I better get in line. That mental works on you every day if you ain't strong enough to prevail and neutralize around that stuff. So that's what I did my last 3 years. 2 years downgraded for, right? The reason I was downgraded for really that long is because of my boxing ability and Noonie Mims Jabbar.
Rest in peace.
Because the boxing program was so big. Yeah. We was affiliated and tied in with the AAU and the boxing in Pennsylvania. So we was under the AAU, the Golden Gloves, all that. They used to bring the street boxing gyms to the prison to fight us. Yeah. Sis Trunk, Omar, all of them used to bring, Omar still got life, he's still down. He, 40 years, close to 40, he got close to 40. Yeah. Used to have interaction with the amateur boxing from society, the streets, and the ones that's locked up. Yeah. And so it became a thing where I got back into the love of it, right? Now, it happened because I sparred, and I never forget it. A guy named his Legs, they call him Legs from West Philly. And he was real slick, but he was real strong too. And we went 4 rounds. In jail, they didn't weigh you by scale, they weigh you by eye. Can you imagine? Like you got some old dudes in there, they ain't looking, their vision ain't too sharp. Yeah. Right? You in there with a cruiserweight, right? But you ain't telling nobody, no, he bigger than me. You don't do that in them joints. Right? You be like, okay, great. Like, even though you're like, oh, man, like that, man, we ain't the same way. You can't talk that language. Yo, y'all, okay, y'all two gonna go in next. You two, and that's how that thing went. You only got an hour and a half in the gym, right? So we busting it up. No ropes, just the mat. If you run off that mat, that's like you turning your ass to the inmate. You can't run off the mat. That's like retreating, like the white flag. Like I need a break. So you got to stay on that mat because they didn't have a whole full ring with the ropes and corner, all that posts and all that. They ain't had all that. We rumbled. Some of the best fights happened in them joints. Gilly, don't you know I have a collection that was given to me at a business that I'm part of, not too far from here. Yeah. Because they abolished the boxing program, and a retired guard gave me DVDs from a VCR tapes that they only had back then. Yeah. Of me rumbling boxing in the penitentiary with all the inmates that you probably know half of them on a corner in the yard of Greater Ford for our boxing shows that they had there. And I'm in the ring rumbling. This is before I became Bernard Hopkins. This is before I became wise to stay out and not stay in.
This when you was heads.
I kept them joints. I got them, and I thank Mr. Jenkins for bringing them to me. right? Because I don't know if he's still around. He was 70 then.
Yeah.
I'm talking about I got these things 8 years ago. I put one out on my Instagram and went crazy because I didn't want to put all of them out there because we at a time right now where that thing is called content.
Right. Yes, sir.
And this ain't luck. This is supposed to happen.
Right.
I didn't plan it,
Right.
but I had a vision for it.
Right.
The timing came at the right time. The timing about anything. You talk about it. People that know what I'm talking about talked about it. I'm showing it and talking about it. I'm not preaching, I'm teaching.
This episode of $1 Million Worth of Game is brought to you by Amazon Music. Now, since you're listening to this show, I think it's safe to say you love listening to podcasts, right? Well, guess what? You'll find a ton of binge-worthy podcasts, including ours, $1 Million Worth of Game, right here on Amazon Music. Amazon Music has more than 10 million free podcast episodes to listen to, like, ours, with some other podcast.
There's a bunch of podcasts. Whatever podcast you choose, any podcast,
Earn Your Leisure. I like that podcast.
Yeah, whatever podcast you think about, you could.
Big Facts podcast,
everything. Drink Champs, whatever. You could watch any podcast you want on Amazon Music. You
Absolutely,
know?
But Amazon Music isn't just for listening to podcasts. They have thousands of music stations and top playlists to stream for free. And no matter what you're listening to, you can go hands-free with Alexa. If you're like me and you like music on demand and ad-free, Amazon Music is the place for you. Over 75 million songs, as well as podcasts, music videos, and more. With Amazon Music Unlimited, you can listen to any song anywhere offline with unlimited skips. So if you've never tried Amazon Music Unlimited, now's a great time. For unlimited time, new customers can try Amazon Music Unlimited free for 3 months, no credit card required. Just go to Amazon.com/game, Amazon.com/game, and music is unlimited free for 3 months. So get in tune. Amazon
Music.
Game.
You see the Muhammad Ali special, man?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You seen the last episode yesterday?
Okay.
Well, not the last. We got one more, and the last one will be, I think, tomorrow or today. But
Don, how did Don? Don was running circles, trying to run circles around you.
yeah, we had battles, man. We had battles in federal court. I'm undefeated. We rumble. I don't mind rumbling if I have to, but it costs. Oh yeah, it's cost.
Yeah,
and a lot of things about, sticking to your guns. It's boxing is a community where you got to understand people have short memories, and they might sympathize and all that stuff with you, but when that teapot cool off, they get on to the next, right? And that's how I got to be, I guess, more use of my time and pick my battles. With Don, he's going to come to you with the streets. He's going to come to you with the game, right? He's going to come to you the way that he know that he have been successful with many others. But every now and then, you get those different people. You get that different response. And then he holds to that response, which is me. See, I had a problem with giving a manager 35 or 40% of my money. I had a problem, and then that's not including the feds. That's not including the expenses. That's not including depending on what state you live in. I love Philly, but I had to go down the street 95, right?
Mm-hmm. Delaware.
Right?
Yeah, Philly hurt you on the taxes.
I had to go, hold. I could have went to the county, right? I could have went here. Most people in Philadelphia, they run to the county. We moving on up, baby. Right? I start thinking, hold up, if this thing don't work out, I always had a plan B. Right. Even when I gave him 9 on the street, 9 years. Right. 9 years. Lost my first fight in Atlantic City Resort Casino. Clinton Mitchell, New York City. He's 4-0, I'm 0-0. I was an opponent, but I rumbled those 4 rounds. And I said never happen again. 15 years straight, holding that middleweight division. I really meant what I said. But I understood when you're negotiating for the future, but I'm negotiating now. And a lot of people might can't understand that or look at that or hear that as a philosophy talk. You can call it what you want to call it. That's the way I operated. When I sat there and talked to Don King, Bob Arum, or any other promoter, Butch Lewis, God rest his soul, right? Who was my first promoter, I knew my value. I can't talk to you about what I'm worth if I don't know what I'm worth.
Right.
How did you know what you was worth?
By getting cheated a couple of times. It didn't feel good. Case in point, Roy Jones Jr. in 1993. Right? I won a case on this. I got all the documents, even all the litigation. I kept all my court papers from every battle I was in. I'm glad I'm dead because it's my stuff. Right. I paid for it, right? Called lawyer fees, right? Me and Roy Jones, we clashed in 1993 at RFK Stadium under the Riddick Bowe and Jesse Ferguson heavyweight championship fight. It was my first attempt to become the IBF middleweight champion of the world. Roy Jones Jr. Olympic silver medal, should have won a gold. Michael Jordan at that time in boxing. I said it many times. I said it then. I'm going to say it now. He was the Michael Jordan in boxing at the time. Roy Jones Jr. taught me a lesson like Mayweather taught Canelo.
Absolutely.
My wins after that proved that statement true. I went 12 years undefeated and wound up getting that title when Roy moved out of the division. Hold up. Let's talk about how did I get financially educated in business. Right. Butch Lewis negotiated from my services to HBO, my look, my likeness, in that ring. Something I knew nothing about.
When you say your looks and your likenesses, that's outside of the fighting.
Yes.
That's some other money.
That's having me on HBO. That's part of those ingredients that they must sign off on and basically be able to exploit you any way they want to exploit you at, because they got the rights sold by the promoter for the license fee. The license fee is, okay, Butch, we got Roy Jones, who's a house fighter of HBO. They got him under contract. He got a multi-million-dollar contract. I wasn't. I was, a gunslinger, outsider, banging in, Wild 41, 45. He comes from Philadelphia. We know he can fight. He's going to make Roy look great. Now, when we fought, it was a separate deal where it was $1.2, $1.3 million split. It was a parity. Parity means split. So that Roy gets his, I gets mine. Whatever I deals with our managers is what it is. Nobody has to do with that. It's your business. But it was the license fee. Y'all know what that is. They have it in music. They have it in radio. They have it in entertainment. It's a license fee. So I didn't know and didn't think it was my business to know. This is where the ignorance at that time was still in me. Didn't ask, always relied on the promoter and information that it is what it is. That's the law in boxing at that time, until I stood up at the hearings in New York City speaking about open disclosure of everything that the promoter gets to bring to the table for a main event or co-main event fighter. We need to know. We can't negotiate in the dark. That's later on conversation. It took 2 years after I lost to Roy Jones to get a whiff of what happened and how much money I should have gotten. I never forget it. Murad Muhammad from Newark, New Jersey. Big community down there in Islam, right? From the nation all the way to the Sunnah.
Yeah.
And so Murad Muhammad, who I thank to the day, and I ran into each other at some convention, boxing convention. They have them every year, right? WBC, WBA, WBO, and all that, right? Hey, champ, Salam alaikum, salam. How you doing? Hey, Murad, how you doing, man? Yes, man, you lost, but you did, because he was representing Roy. He was representing Roy.
Right.
And we at this convention. How much you get paid? That's how this conversation fell on my lap. Told him when I got paid, what? It's $300,000 missing. It was a parity. You're supposed to split $750. Roy got $750. I was supposed to got $750 on my side. How much you get? I said, Murad, I'm thinking, okay, I got a team. I got a management team. They all from Philly, right? They're all from Philly, old heads, right? My guys representing me, Fareed, Rob Murray, Will Tiller, Gregory Turner. Some of them guys still around. Some of them I still see and talk to when I do see them. How you doing? Keep it moving. I realized that I was told that the fight was a parity, but the numbers was different. And so out of that 750 that's supposed to be on my side, I got 150 paid taxes. I got 80,000.
Damn.
Hold up. And I got documentations. That's what makes this thing so beautiful. How did I learn my hard lesson of being ignorant and didn't know?
Had to go through the ring.
I had to go through the ring, and that's why I'm vicious right now in a way of knowing research. Not vicious to be not like the ones I despise, but vicious in a way of I'm going to turn every stone over. I'm going to not take anything for granted, and if I don't know what that means, I'm going to call one of them lawyers and ask them.
Right.
I'm not going to be ashamed anymore.
Right.
This episode of $1 Million Worth of Game is brought to you by Roman Deli. One thing about Roman Deli is an easy to swallow pill. I'm talking about available in a monthly subscription for just $35, or you could get a quarterly subscription for $87. I'm talking about this is a really easy way to support your physical activity, brain health, your immune system, and your heart health. No prescription required. You don't need no prescription. You ain't got to worry about, hey, doc, hook me up. The doc ain't got nothing to do with this. I'm talking about Roman Deli. I'm talking about it's coated in a slick coating. I'm talking about some natural peppermint oil, so there's no unpleasant aftertaste. I'm talking about you ain't even got to worry about that. And once again, this is talking about your immune system, your heart health. I'm talking about support your physical activity and all that type of stuff. I'm talking about everything. Remember, supplements are not a replacement for healthy diet, exercising, and good sleep. You know what I mean? You still have to eat your greens and get your steps in. You got to do your part. But guess what? You got to listen. This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases. But what you need to do is start your day off right with $15 off your first order. What you need to do is go to getroman.com/daily-multivitamin right now. getroman.com/daily-multivitamin and get $15 off your first order. What are you waiting for? Roman Daily.
So check this out, Gilly. I'm still reserving myself to saying that this might be something that's told to break the monopoly up because they see the threat this is going to come, even though in the defeat, I got to make sure I'm getting this right information. It ain't just game coming to me to throw chaos amongst the community that I'm part of. But it wasn't. And so I stepped to Butch. I stepped a Butch. I heard, come on, man, no, man, you can't listen to these people. I said, man, I'm hearing this, man. I'm like, but I never stop digging. I let him believe that. I ain't bring it to him anymore. Murad got me the contract. I have it to the day. He got me the contract. Look at the numbers. HBO signed them. It was 5 signatures because it was a unique card where 5 different promoters had 5 different fighters on the same card. So I'm looking at this bout agreement, this agreement from all the promoters that signed at the bottom and what they got for the show. Even Riddick Bowe money is down there because he fought Jesse Ferguson, who was just a contender. Everything, hell broke loose. Listen, one emotion is a strategy. I found a good storefront lawyer, one downtown. It was too much, right? And I had to negotiate. Listen, man, you roll with me. We win this. We in it together. We filing papers together. Right. We had to file in New York because you wanted jurisdiction in New York. We fought that, no, I did my business and got show evidence that you did business in Philly. I live in Philly. I want to be in federal court here. I want to be down in New York City. Right. But we had to battle that. Anybody know about that jurisdiction thing? Anybody know about legal law and all that? So we rumble. But I'm following, we running, making documents so we can get that answer, yay or nay, whether we should be here or there. So we go to New York. He win. Go to New York. Got a judge hear it. Boom. They kick it back to Philly. We have no jurisdiction here. I rumbled here. I got out the contract. I just wanted to get out the contract. They ain't give me no money back because I did sign it. That was the hard lesson. The judge sympathized. You got to remember, I don't have all these belts. I'm not a well-known name. Right. There wasn't no favoritism. Right. It was the facts. Right? And a lawyer that I dug up somewhere in South Philly who wasn't downtown in Center City for $450, $500 an hour, right? Or want to retain him for 30 racks.
Right.
So check this out. So now I'm grinding with him. I'm teaching a green out of Temple, came with the Temple. Alan Teller, his name is. I'm telling him the game about the boxing and the slick. He looking at it, they can't do this. It's not law. He's going strictly by the book. I said, yo, in this game, right, the book only matters when you're in court.
Right.
Right? In this game here, you must understand, Alan, just because they put things in writing, you got to hold them accountable and hold them to the task of honoring that thing. Boxing is like one of those sports, and I ain't killing it. I'm telling you the facts how it is. There's a lot of good in it. Look at me. But it's some stuff that you got to understand that just because you see what you see and they can't do that, yes, they will. That don't mean nothing. So I have to get that in his head. He got it real quick. And next thing I know, I'm let out to be free. We can't give you the money that you didn't because you did sign off. You did agree to it. Unethical it was. But I'm going to give you your freedom because you can start all over.
Right.
And boy, did I do. I start over and I went right in and I was on a terror. Got away from Butch and didn't have a promoter since. Don't have a promoter now. And it's been 20-something years, right? I became a promoter being promoted by Golden Boy based on having an owner and partnership in paper, besides the employment agreement of the company that you're partners with as a owner.
Right.
Because I'm leaving my house, I'm traveling, I'm doing that. That's work. I'm retired when that time came, and it's here.
Right.
But I had that in place 10 years ago. Now, learning all this really good lessons, but hard to accept it most of the times when you don't see the outcome of it like I see now, because you got to deal with it emotionally. You got to deal with it in an anger. You got to deal with it in what are you going to do next? You got to have a strategy. But any fight that's in the near future, and it will be, no matter what it is, I realized and it stimulated my mind and also conditioned my mind to understand that we, and I said to the comrades of mine that's listening, the ones that's right here next to me, you got through the most difficult times in your life, whatever that is, even if you haven't been that way. That is, if you believe could have destroyed you, wiped you out, or any way of not returning to what you know you can do and be. Every time I have to deal with business or something to the point where I need to be reminded, I have the state boots if I want to dig them out the attic. I have that 9 years, Gilly. You a Philly dude. Everybody here is. I come home in 1988.
Yeah.
That was the middle or close to the middle of the JBMM era.
Crack era.
Hold up. 9 years parole, 25 years old. Even though I boxed since I was 9, come from families of 2 brothers, mother and father, uncles that rumbled in the city. Never made it worldwide, but they well known amongst the old heads and the fighters of today. Artie McLeod, Juju Hopkins, Johnny Clyde. They on my mother and father's side.
Right.
It's in my DNA. But I understood when I came home in 88, it was set up for me to fail from the gate. Think about it. Go back to that era. Lost my first fight, I said. Took off 89 and 90 because I was out there for a minute. Look at my record. I'm inactive. Look at it. Because the producers are. She took a sit back. They remember me now for 30 years. They sort of forgot. Oh, it was a story before. This would make it so profound on a Michael Jordan type of level and the Muhammad Ali type of level in this era, how there's so many chapters. Cut.
Right.
We're going to show this Tuesday. Cut. We're going to show this Wednesday.
Right.
I understood no matter what I battle, here into the grave, Walking off that 9 years in 88, losing my first fight. Everybody swollen pockets, going to Chuck's on Erie Avenue.
Yeah. Yes,
Hold up. 5.0, Saabs, 850 BMWs.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of dudes coming home getting killed. They did 30, did 40, whether in the feds or whatever, because they can't adjust.
Right.
That could have been me. Mm-hmm. I come home and understood, even though it was a struggle. My parole lady on Spring Garden Street, they condos now. Yeah. 14th floor.
Yeah.
I go down to the 8th or 9th floor and get my manager's license from the Boxing Athletic Commissioner, Howard McCall, Commissioner. God rest his soul. Businesses all around that spot on Spring Garden, even in the car. Yo, here I with the 14th floor. It's condos now. I'm telling people, get the camera, get that. I'm not supposed to be here by statistics. You ain't supposed to be here by statistics. Why you think they not plastering me up? I don't want to be a statue. It don't move. It don't talk. The inspiration that I want to establish is motivated by Ali. Whether we share the same 2 days apart birthdays, his the 17th, mine's the 15th. Whether we Capricorns, we devoted, we strong, we determined to prove others wrong because that's the what keeps us going.
Right.
I became champion. And I say I became champion when I gave him 9 years parole. I knew I was going to be here, Gilly.
Right.
I knew I was going to be doing interviews, no matter whoever. It was Johnny Carson, whatever.
Right.
Right? No matter where I had to go, whether it was a radio station, TV station, wherever it was, right? Whatever it was. When I beat De La Hoya, who's my partner, been my partner for 20 years, and I'm his partner, be on Jay Leno's couch that Monday. Had to stay over and be in LA and sit there with Jay Leno. Google it. It's right there.
Right.
Having Brian Gumble and all of them on Behind the Glory come up graded for it. My old head did 52, 53 years. Smokey Wilson had life. Came out on the juvenile homicide. Coming from the Moroccos.
I know him.
Come up from having the juvenile homicide. This got out 2 years ago.
Are we home?
Yeah, he home.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Smokey home.
Got to get him up on here.
Yeah,
See, ho. That's who he trained me in the joint.
Yeah.
How profound that is for a man. He stayed in my ear. Don't be like me. He see me coming through there like he came through.
Oh.
Jabbar, Noonie Mims, said, look, he can fight. He said he can fight. And let's see how he feels. He can't fight. All that stuff. It was that type of talk. That's how he was, man. Okay, everybody said they can fight.
Hold up. I had a moment where as though I was boxing too. No, I went down there. Down
Bo Massey,
Lou Brown, all of them. Listen, I'm in the gym, so I go down there, throw the mouthpiece, and I put my ones and twos together. Boy, knock my mouthpiece out. I retired.
Nigga punched him out of state boots.
No, I retired that day.
He realized
but I was going to be where you was at too. Right. I said, damn, I'm going to be a champ.
In your mind, you was like me champ till that mouthpiece came out.
Listen, the mouthpiece came out.
That mouthpiece vicious.
And life changed.
And the state boots went somewhere else. He was over here.
He know what's going on.
Yeah.
They get you down the gym and they set you up.
Yeah.
You see a dude in the corner just chilling, looking like he don't know. Yeah, you go ahead, rumble him. I'm gonna knock him out.
Yeah. You going in there like I got this.
I got this.
See, you don't know that you entertainment for conversations later on the block.
Right.
On the block.
He got his coffee, no cream and sugar.
He beat the shit out of you.
He got the stinger. The stinger is working.
Yeah.
So he plugged the stinger. Man, I still know how to make those stingers.
Me too.
I get the stinger. Right, make the microwave, the shoebox cut open, lace it with aluminum foil,
all that.
Put the light bulb in there. You got a hot sandwich.
Yeah.
These are the things, Gilly, I'll never forget. Right. I never forget to survive. Doga told me, how you handling this COVID? I said, what is COVID?
Right.
Now, I understand, other than people dying and they're shutting things down and changing their lives. But when you're talking about, to me, right, I can't speak for everybody else, but for those who know, when you talk about me, how I'm handling this COVID on a quarantine lockdown, I said, yo, man, they forgot. I've been boxing so long, I stopped at 28 years, almost 3 decades. They don't understand I have my freedom. I jeopardized that. And now that you can look at it, I really played with my future then, correct?
Right.
Now, I can look at grass and deers, and it's my house where I ain't got to pay a fee to get into this museum, and I can do what I need to do and what I want to do, and I got peace there at home, because a lot of people don't have peace at home. They'd rather be locked up.
Only thing they got at home is a piece of ass.
Yeah,
exactly.
But for you to get there, right? Let me ask you a question. This episode of $1 Million Worth of Game is brought to you by FTX, formerly known as Blockfolio. One thing about FTX is the world's most popular mobile app for cryptocurrency tracking and trading. Build your portfolio and follow prices of over 10,000 coins. Get phone notification updates directly from your projects that you care about. Buy and sell Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and other top tokens with absolutely zero fees. And get a free coin with every trade over $10. What is you waiting for?
What are you waiting on?
I'm talking about right now. Visit the App Store, download FTX for free today. Use code MDWOG and get $20. I'm talking about $20 invested into your account. You getting $20 straight into your FTX account. You know, you're doing cryptocurrency, trading, track, whatever you're trying to do. This is where you at. I'm talking about formerly known as Blockfolio, FTX. What are you waiting for? Go in the App Store right now, download it for free, and use the code MDWOG, and you getting $20 invested into your account for free. What are you waiting for? FTX. And this is a boxing almanac, but I think I'm going to ask this because I like to know this. What was the roughest fight you ever had in your life in that ring? Who was that dude that came in there and gave you you was like, this motherfucker?
Roy Jones. Michael Jordan in boxing at that time. Yo, he did
that was the first fight, though.
Yeah.
The second fight you won.
Yeah. I got him a little older.
Yeah.
And I was older.
Yeah,
but I wanted them.
You deserved better.
I tracked him down for 16 years. Roy fought me. He needed me. We're in Golden Boy promotion. I'm part of Golden Boy, but I'm also still fighting. You got to remember, I'm still fighting, and still the business side is in the back pocket.
Right.
For when I exit out of this boxing thing, I ain't got to look. I'm already there.
Right.
That's how I think. I'm out looking. What are you going to do? You already failed. What do you mean what are you going to do? Gilly, you don't get up in the morning and say, man, what are we going to do? You already know.
Right.
Yeah.
You pre-prepared, already know what you're going to do.
Right.
A lot of people don't think and operate that way. They might talk it, but they don't operate that way. They don't come prepared. You must be prepared in this day of thinking, of technology and movement and being proactive. You got to be months ahead of people. Society of the masterminds that's running this whole country is prepared 20 years from now. Prepared 10 sometimes years from now. That's the shortest. They already got a scheme and a plan and a legitimate reason to take over and do what they wanted to do and dominate it. And that's how we have to think as we look forward and what you want to do. What are you going to be doing the next 5 or 10 years? Well, I didn't think I was going to be living. So, okay, you got past that excuse. Still, you must have a plan.
Right.
If you're looking to not live 10 and 20 years, then you're not going to live. That's your plan.
Right.
That's your plan? No, it ain't my plan. Well, look what you just said. Words are important. Because as soon as you open your mouth, you tell the world how intelligent you are.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you this. Right now, 5 fighters. Who the top 5 fighters to you? Your top 5 right now. Right now.
Canelo first. Crawford. Joshua. Heavyweight. Got a fight coming up.
Now, is you going off of Crawford off the eye test, or because Crawford ain't really beat nobody?
I like Crawford because of his longevity, and anybody that went in there with him, he beat.
Yeah.
And hold up. And he's a champion, and he has the longevity of not ducking nobody and beating everybody that came in front of him. And he's still trying to get that fight that he wants now, whether it's Earl Spence or even another top contender up there that's qualified. But I definitely believe that when you look at that landscape, he's definitely in the top 3. Mm-hmm. All right, where I'm at, Crawford, Spence, Earl Spence. He's definitely, you know Earl Spence.
Yeah.
Texas, right?
Yeah.
You said Joshua?
Joshua. And how many?
That's 4.
That's 4. You need 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who I think that, and I mentioned Canelo, Tank.
Okay. Now let me ask you this.
Tank Davis.
Absolutely.
And he can punch.
Philly is hot right now with boxers. How do you feel about the Philly boxers?
What do you mean by that? Like when you say names, who?
Jerron Boots Ennis.
Ennis.
Vicious. But Boots came up through the boxing in the church, his father. All right. My nephew, Demetrius, was trained by his father, Demetrius Hopkins. That longevity and that bloodline, man. Yeah. I gave him his first gloves. My nephew, my uncle gave me, not my first gloves, but took me to Joe Frazier, born in Glenwood.
Yes.
Right? In the late 70s. I need to see between now and going into 22 when things supposedly open up more than this year. It was a test this year to go and see what boxing going to do as far as being back to 80% normalcy. What he do now, because every year passes, every year he loses. He got to get those big fights. Right. I haven't seen, I'm talking as a promoter now and also as a fighter. So I got the advantage over most promoters. They haven't done this. Right. They might know the business part of it. They might know who can fight eye by eye and all that stuff. But I'm going into two issues. Bootsy right now is on everybody's mind when you talk about Philadelphia and you talk about who can fight in that division or who can't fight that division. But let me tell you something. Just because that car looks shiny, just because that car is bad and you like it, until you start up, you ain't going to buy it. We need to see Boots in some fights where we know that if he ain't on this game, that the true talents will come out. Michael Jordan needed certain players to show his greatness. He need that greatness spawn. He need not even a spawn partner. He need that greatness opposite attractive himself, right? Of having that potential greatness. Right. Greatness shouldn't be given. It's thrown around as a conversation. Boots right now is representing Philadelphia based on what he's done now, today. But until you step out of Philadelphia and become worldly known and establish yourself, first get in the door and then you maintain that door. It's like maintaining the money. Once you get it, how do you maintain it? You got it now. How do you maintain it? I haven't seen that yet. Right? I don't know who promoted him. I don't think he even have a promoter. I think he's freestyling because he don't trust the system or he didn't get the deal that he want. So you got all kinds of promoters out there who know who Boots is, including Golden Boy. I'm from Philly, right? But you got Mayweather Promotion, you got Al Heyman Promotions /advisor, but promoter. Right. You have Eddie Hearns, you have all of them. Now, we see the talent. It must be in people's mind, not everybody's, that every promoter I mentioned, and the ones I didn't mention, would and should be on Bootsy's door right now, but they're not. So, if you want to dig further into it, you say, well, why not, champ? Could be inside confusion amongst what? Amongst who we go to or who we don't go to, or we be independent. Listen, you only get but so far when you're doing it based on non-exclusive, which means I go in, I'm going to fight, let you do the show, we get an agreement, this is what it is, I'm going to move on and work with other people. Okay, that seems like independence, that seems like this, and it is. But it comes a time in boxing, and I've been a part of this for a while, and on both sides. Either going to be with Top Rank, Golden Boy, PBC, Eddie Hearns, or you fighting they fighters. And you basically is going to get treated like you're second.
Like an opponent.
Now, the apple card is they can have you set up the way you want to set up, you beat them. Right. That's how you've been doing it. But it's time to step up now. It's time to see Boots step up right now because he's not a rookie. He's not a guy that's we need to build up. We know what he can do. He can fight his ass off. I've been there through his fights. And I know his dad. We grew up together. We ain't too far. You know, we come up in the amateurs together on Upshur Street, Jazz Basement, right? That's another story, right? I started in the basement on Upshur Street, right off of Germantown Avenue. Not towards Cherokee at the top, right? Together Brothers, they called it. Club. It was like 8 of us. And his father was one who trained at East Germantown, I believe, at that time. Shelton and Artley. Yeah. I like to see Boots fight somebody that we all understand and recognize that this is going to be a fight, whether he win, lose, or draw. Until then, he'll keep winning. He'll have a hell of a record, undefeated. The money won't be long. But you want to step in, you got to step in. And normally you got to step in with a promoter that everybody knows, that respect, because he's going to put you in there. He can pull the strings. He got the information. Right. And I'll tell you off the gate, Top Rank been around 30 plus years. Did Ali, did Foreman, did the old, the new, the young. But he need to now establish himself. And it's like signing to a big label. You hot. I'm going to use that phrase because y'all relate to music better than I do on the business side, but to me, it's all the same thing. Right. Different terms here. Until you get with that label, back in the day, now you can do certain things different. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. You knew ain't nobody hollering at you. Right. Ain't nobody promoting you like that. You doing it on your own, that's cool. But world, international, overseas, across the pond, mm-hmm. that comes with work and not what you know and how much skills you have. It's who you know.
Mm-hmm. All right, now, you saying that, you said you ain't had no promoter. You was representing you.
Yeah. For a short time. That was after I got the bag and the belts. Mm-hmm.
Once you get the bag and the belts, you call the shots.
Right. Yeah. I ain't say the belt first in the bag. Even though you're going to win those belts, the bag don't normally come right away.
Right.
You got to remember, like, I ain't had no promoter because I had power. I had strength. I had what they needed to get from me. And that kept me from never underestimating my opponent. Even my mandatories shouldn't be a number one contender. But I had to fight them every 9 months because that's why they are mandatory.
Right.
I'll go there for $50,000 when I should be getting $5 million.
Right.
I've done that based on the politics, thinking I'm going to vacate it. No, if I vacate these titles, I don't have no strength.
Right.
The titles keep me in the race. They obligated to give me 3 fights a year if I got 3 belts. Right. WBC, WBA, IBF. And that's why I need to be undisputed. Right. So I got those belts, made those defenses, which is world record now in the middleweight division. Mm-hmm. I surpassed Marvelous Hagler, the great late Carlos Mazone and Hagler, and then I established my own 20 defenses. Mm-hmm. And so this is where the strength come at. It's only 1% to 2% of fighters that get in position and be able to call their own shots and be able to tell the sanctioning bodies, I can't give you 3% in the purse. Don't you know every sanctioning body belt that's out there? There are 5 belts in each division. It's really watered down. They get 3% of your gross purse every time you defend that title. Mm-hmm. Unless you're the Mayweathers, unless at that time myself, the Roy Jones, where you got those big contracts, you're getting $30 million a fight. You ain't giving up 3%. Do the math. Right. 3% of $30 million is a lot of money.
Yes.
And you got 3 belts, so you got paid 3 times that.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. What's 3 fights that nobody's seen that you would like to see? Three big fights that you would like to see. Where so I'm not saying nobody ducking nobody, but it's not happening that you would say I'd like to see certain people in the ring. What three fights would that
right
be?
now?
Right now.
First, I like to see my guys from Houston, the Charlo brothers, mm-hmm. Beast. Mm-hmm. I like to see Canelo fight the biggest one at 165, 160, right? I don't know if Canelo can make 60 again. He said he can, but if he can, he can. The older you get, the year go by, the more hard to get down in weight. So that's one. One of the Cello brothers, the bigger one in middleweight, the 160, Jamal, fight Canelo at 160, 65, catch weight, which I've done many times in the middleweight division for my title. The second one, I like to see Earl Spence and I would say Crawford, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's the one that we wanted a year ago. It's the fans wanted a year ago, mm-hmm. and that's all I heard. The third one, I would like to see. I'd like to see Danny Garcia from Philadelphia get a shot at a different weight class, the champion in that division, right away, not a tune-up. I'd like to see him go right to that division and get a champion. I think he's going up to 154, mm-hmm. Junior middleweight. So I'd like to see him fight. I forgot his name, but he's a European. I like to see him fight the top guy at that weight division, Danny Garcia. I like to see him.
Just for Charlo.
What's his name?
I forget his name, but I know who you're talking about.
I like to see him get that type of fight right out of the gate, because I think Danny Garcia will be. I've been at his gym, trained at his gym when they first opened it, an Angel to my guys. So I like to see him, Danny Garcia, fight that particular fight with the belts on the line, right to the dance, go right to it, and I believe he'll be successful at that weight class. I believe that he grew out of that weight really a year and a half ago, and he got down there because he's disciplined and he's determined. But I think that weight division at 54 is going to be blessing for him.
Right.
He can eat now. He can eat.
Absolutely.
He can eat.
Absolutely.
Body ain't in the bottle no more.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, we appreciate you for coming through.
Appreciate you, man.
Legend.
Appreciate you.
Legend.
You know what I mean?
Big time business owner too. You got a lot of businesses. You're successful, extremely successful after the boxing.
And I've been doing it real quietly. You know what I mean? For the years, Gilly, I've been coming up and we from Philly. We see the neighborhoods. We see what they used to look like and what they're looking like now. And steady complaining about it and steady saying how much it's being changed. And not being a part of it, whether on the positive side or on the business side. I think you just basically talking and just complaining about something that you don't even want to fix, or be proactive in what's going on for your legacy and your family legacy. So I understand sometimes that we get intimidated when we see change, but change ain't always bad.
No.
Are you a part of it? If it's positive enough. If it is, you should be a part of it and get in it on the business side and also on the culture side and also, in your community. So I'm always going to be attached to Philadelphia. It's embedded in me, but I also understand that it's two sides to the good, just like bad exists. It's the yin and the yang, and you got to understand what side you on and represent it. No flip-flopping. And thank y'all for having me on here. It's been a long time. I appreciate what y'all have done from the muscle and continue to do it. And peace and blessings.
Yes, sir.
Man, appreciate the legend for coming through, man, and just blessing us with this game. That's got his intention, motivation, and education, man. Appreciate y'all for making us the #1, podcast in the country every week. And it's just like that. Right.